Good morning. As you said, my name is Jason Mitchell. I'm a board-certified naturopathic doctor. I've been in the natural products industry for about 25 years professionally, and my primary focus in the dietary supplement industry has been focused on product formulation and development. In fact, I helped run a very large dietary supplement company for 15 years, developing over 300 products within the natural products industry. Now, it's kind of funny that I find myself here today to share things like this at a cannabis convention, because if you knew me in 2011, I was a rabid anti-cannabis advocate. In fact, politically speaking, I would be on the complete opposite side of this fence until I got sick in 2011. And I share this with you because HempFusion is a company that was truly based on some very emotional roots. And so for me, I went from rabid anti-cannabis advocate to radical cannabis promoter, in the sense that there are so many amazing things that the scientific community have revealed, not only to everybody that is being exposed to cannabis now, but to myself as well, to show that cannabis is unlocking the mysteries that have eluded the medical profession for decades, and that there is a tremendous amount of research that's already been done and more that even needs to be done. Now, to be very clear, as our name would suggest, we are focused primarily on hemp. Now, first, one of the things that I love to share is that due to the track record and everything that we have done up to this point, we attracted the interest of an investment group by the name of Rad Capital. They're most known for their involvement in Organigram, Emblem, the Green Organic Dutchman, plus products. And because of their investment, we were able to further our mission in a way that we had never dreamed possible. And so we're very, very excited. Rad Capital has been responsible for over $700 million of investment into the cannabis space, and they've been incredibly successful. Now, we are currently in the middle of the audit process, developing our prospectus, as well as potentially looking at a first quarter IPO. And so those are some of the things that I'd love to share from the financial side. But to be honest, coming to a financial-based convention or something of that nature, talking this way, I'm usually not the person. I'm more the nerd behind the scenes. I'm the one that actually does the creation and tinkers. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about HempFusion so that you can understand what's truly special about what we do and how we're different. Now, we are not farmers. We are not manufacturers. We are developers of consumer packaged goods using unique technologies with really well-identified and planned supply chain. And that's some of the things that I'd love to share. First of all, when we look at the hemp industry right now, I don't think it's a bad thing to say that right now, the CBD products that are on the market today have created quite a bit of noise. And I think we can all agree with that. Maybe a couple of years ago, there might have been a handful of brands in retail community and maybe even more online. But today, we're finding hundreds, if not thousands, of brands that are landing on the shelf. And the questions the consumers have is what's in the bottle done? Is it manufactured correctly? Are the things being done properly? One of the things that we committed ourselves to from the very beginning is that we would absolutely do this right no matter what. In fact, if you haven't heard of it, the U.S. Hemp Authority is an outside third-party certifying agency. And what they've done is we were one of the first 13 companies this past January, or this past March, that were released as one of the first 13 companies that were certified in the hemp industry. Now, what does certified mean? It means that they've gone through over a 100-point checklist to verify that we're operating correctly within the rules, manufacturing practices, laboratory testing, identification, batch testing, and things of that nature. In a sense, assuring that the professionalism of how we're approaching the hemp industry is done so correctly. Now, I want to share with you just some of the unique elements about us. Now, we're not farmers, but again, we've lined up a pretty amazing supply chain. Our farming practices are rather unique. First of all, we grow nothing but European or certified EU organic hemp. Now, we grow in 3 specific countries, Poland, Croatia, and Lithuania. And there's a very important reason why, because they create unique microclimates that we've identified that when you evaluate soil analysis, and you can see nitrogen, phosphorus, nutrient content, and so forth, we grow 5 different strains in these unique microclimates. And then when blending prior to extraction, we actually have really unique outcomes. And this is part of the development in creating some internal IP, if you will, things that are really, truly unique, that when developing our products, we have a wide array of cannabinoid profile that doesn't just focus on CBD, that magic bullet. Now, I love to point this out. The magic bullet CBD, I know people are excited about it, and I think that the market is very excited to see the revenues that are coming as a result of products like this. I point out one important feature, one important thing, a statement that was made in medicine. In fact, it's probably one of the most notorious statements made in the medical community, and it's by Hippocrates, "Let food be thy medicine." And I point out it's not the statement that he made, it was the statement that he didn't make. He did not say, let a singular isolated compound identified in a laboratory, double-blind, placebo-controlled, studied for a specific. He didn't say that. He said, let the actual food itself be medicine. I point that out because research is showing that, yes, CBD is incredibly valuable, but there is also some truth to when you have a wider array of other cannabinoids, support components, and constituents such as flavonoids and other things that exist naturally, without adulteration, have incredible value. And so we as a company took it, yes, we do have CBD, but we're looking at things far beyond that and trying to get a little bit ahead of the curve, focusing on things like terpenes and looking at the research on how omegas, fatty acids like 3, 6, and 9 play a role and so forth. And so our farming practices are rather key because we want to, one, grow them correctly in the right microclimate so that we can get the right cannabinoid and constituent profiles, blending them together that result in an exclusive oil that by channel is blocked just for us. Now, our extraction process, in fact, we use a facility that is it is found in Poland, and it is an extraction facility that is owned and run by the Polish government. It is the largest facility of its kind, over 20,000 square foot, that has currently to date roughly about a 36-ton potential output per day. I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you've seen it, you'd understand exactly what it is. They actually have a continuous flow CO2 system where they make their own CO2. It's actually an incredible manufacturing facility that puts out probably one of the most amazing quality CO2 extracted hemp extract oil that we've been able to find. Now, the reasons why we didn't use the US market is at the time we launched in 2015, we were unsure, or I would say there was a certain amount of insecurity as it relates to the legality of whether or not what we were going to harvest from or extract from was even legal in the community now. Now, the 2018 Farm Bill cured that for a lot of us, and that's wonderful. However, at the time, we had to secure a supply chain that was something that we could count on for ongoing. And when we went and looked at other available supply chains, what we found is the European Union has had a long-running history, probably one of the longest, in commercially growing industrial hemp. And so it's something incredibly important to us because all of the seed stock that we use by the 5 strains that we harvest from are all DNA verified. So they are a secured strains and something that we can count on. The extraction method is using a special process that we like to call HOPE because there's a lot of hope in this plant, and that was part of our trademark, but it's called hemp one-pass extraction. And that is using a proprietary method of CO2, and I know that a lot of people can, they make mention to things like proprietary and so forth. But it is truly something unique developed because it yields a much lower percentage of CBD than other extraction methods are probably doing. But what it does do is it leaves all these other available cannabinoids and flavonoids intact. I mean, our CBD content in the output oil is only 10%. It's actually relatively low. But when you look at CBG, CBC, CBDV, other terpenes, flavonoids, canaflavins, A, B, C, and D, we're finding a much wider array. In fact, in our output oil, we're seeing as many as 16 different cannabinoids on a regular basis. And so it's actually a quite special oil. Now, our formulation perspective, this is where my expertise comes in because, again, we're not into manufacturing or farming, but we do partner with those individuals that do. So our thoughts are, our name, HempFusion, is hemp fused together with other unique constituents. And why that's important is because not only does it scientifically make sense to support the endocannabinoid system properly, but it also makes sense from an FDA perspective. Now, many of you know or have heard that when the Farm Bill passed, the FDA made an issue and said, well, where the plant itself is legal to grow, we are not, this is the FDA statement, not mine, they do not believe that selling a CBD oil is in compliance with the FDA. So the FDA created their own sort of misunderstanding and so forth of we don't even know what their rules are eventually going to be. So there's a lot more clarity that still needs to come. Now, just for the record, I do sit as a board member of the U.S. Hemp Roundtable, and I sit on the subcommittee for the FDA subcommittee for them and the policy committee for them. And so we're very aware of what's happening, and there's some really interesting things that are coming soon. But one of the things that's most important to mention is in the industry of CBD or cannabis, the FDA has enforced in one primary area, and that is in the area of claim language, meaning making claims about your products, making disease state and function claims that they don't believe are substantiated or lawful. So one of the strategies that we took is that when we look at this, the most recent Gallup poll with regards to CBD shows that 14% of the US population is using a CBD product today. I found that pretty astonishing. It's pretty amazing that in just a couple of short years, we're able to reach that sort of a level. But what was interesting was the reasons why they were using these products. 57% of the people in this Gallup poll were actually showing to use this product for pain and inflammation or things related to that. And what that's showing is that consumers are very concerned about the options for pain management and looking at alternatives that are truly safe. And I think it's wonderful, and I think there's a lot more research that needs to happen. The second most important is stress. Stress and things that are related to stress, because stress has a very toxic effect on the body. And the third was sleep. So when we looked at this as a company, we said, we have to answer the questions why. We have to serve the consumer not just with a CBD oil and let them decide for themselves, or on the contrary, make claims that are not legally substantiated. Instead, we started to make fusion products together, so we would add ingredients that come with substantiated structure function claims to allow us an ability to share with somebody, a consumer that may not understand this, an ability to see that the product actually works for a specific purpose. For example, we have a HempFusion Sleep, a HempFusion Stress. And it allows us an ability to legally do this with DSHEA, which is Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act compliant structure function claims. And so our formulations are truly unique in the way that we've done it. And all of our formulations are proprietary and protected. Because as I said, our supply chain from dirt to shelf is an exclusive supply chain. One of the things I love to share also is that all of our manufacturing facilities are FDA-registered facilities that are also ISO 9001 certified as USDA organic processors, and also independently US Hemp Authority certified. And the reason why we chose this is that we as a company are also, as a distribution facility, are also FDA-registered. That means that we are known to the FDA for exactly what we do, and we actually follow what is called 21 CFR Part 111. And that is following all of the GMPs that are required. See, this is a responsibility we have to the consumer to make sure that we do things correctly. The last and probably the most important thing I'll share in a unique way about our company is that product testing and validation. As many of you may know that if you're in the farming industry or know about cannabis, cannabis is what is known as a bioaccumulator, where it is wonderful that it'll draw nutrients from the soil and constituents. It'll also draw potential contaminants such as heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, and other things. And it does so very, very efficiently. And so as a result, one of the things that we found most important is not only protecting, even before we plant, doing pre-soil validation, of which we make available all of our testing results publicly so that people can see them and very transparently. We as a company make all of our third-party testing, our organic certificate, glyphosate testing, pre-soil validation testing, all of our finished product third-party laboratory testing results, either by QR code, by request from the company, or this Friday we're launching something rather unique, is that on our website we will actually give you a full library of every single testing result that we've ever had on every finished product since the beginning of our company in 2015, so that you will be able to see the bottle that you're holding in your hand by lot code introduction, be able to validate that in fact what has been done with our product, you can verify all the testing results from an independent, third-party, ISO-certified laboratory. And this is something that I think is really important for the consumer to be completely and overwhelmingly transparent. Now, when it comes to company highlights, I focus just on our distribution. Currently, we're available in 3,900 stores and growing. We have a proven management team that come from specific areas of dietary supplement in the beverage industry to give our ability to expand in many unique markets, as well as individuals that have been in the cannabis industry specific and have focused on e-commerce, which many of you may be aware can be a little bit of a tangled web to figure out how to market properly on the web with different organizations that will ban the marketing of cannabis-based products. So. Also, we have a unique product portfolio roughly right now, over 31 products that we have currently with 25 new products coming before the end of the year. The current funding that we've actually raised is $42 million, and our current cash position is about $35 million in the bank today. Now, we have established supply chain, as I mentioned, but compliance is probably one of the most important things that I look at, because the future is an ability to be able to map out what the path will be when right now we don't know what the rules from the FDA will be as it relates to CBD-based consumer packaged goods. We do know that they're under a 120-day, evaluation of being able to come out with something called discretionary enforcement. And so we're hoping that in the near future, we're going to have some interesting answers while the FDA is pulling things together. But being in the dietary supplement industry, there's a certain rule book that the FDA plays by. And we are very well known to it as it relates to dietary supplements in general. We believe that certain things will become very important to the FDA, and one of them is GRAS, not to be confused with GRASS, it's instead one S. It's called Generally Regarded as Safe. And it is a specific path of proving that the oil that you're selling is in fact safe for human consumption. It requires an in-depth look at toxicology reports to the point where you actually develop what is called a NOAEL, a no observed adverse effect level. That means you publish it for the public to see that in fact you've tested it properly and that it is apt for human consumption. And what's most important is that it's peer reviewed. These are things crucial to making sure that what you're doing in a product is proper. We are just about nearing the end of our GRAS affirmation, and we'll be the second company in dietary supplements to have a truly published, full toxicology report done by ourselves, publishing our GRAS affirmation. And so I think it's important to know that we will actually be exceeding what is now known as, or thought to be, what are going to be requirements laid out. Now, we still don't know exactly what the rules will be, but we do absolutely believe that the track we're on is proper. Now, as it relates to compliance, I mentioned that, sorry. So where we are currently right now. Currently right now, we're available, as I said, in 3,900 retailers over 47 states. And we're about to embark on a mission outside the United States. First in the UK, which would include London and so forth, is our primary distribution area. And we're also looking at Ireland as well. And these are things that are actually going to start before the end of the year. 95% of our business right now is in brick and mortar. Now, what's important to mention is only 5% of our business is e-commerce. Again, my background was focused on retail. We hired a rather significant and well-educated team to develop our e-commerce platform. In fact, this past Monday, we launched our new website. And in fact, through the methods they used, we saw a 40% increase just in the last 2 days of conversion or purchase on our website. So we know that some of the things that we are doing are correct, and where that's the largest opportunity for us as a growing company. Now, one of the things that's important to mention, we are not only a hemp company. In fact, our family of companies include another company called Probulin. Now, Probulin is a company focused on digestive health, and digestive health was an area where I was most emotionally attached to why we launched and apologetically, like I said, put together HempFusion, because my issue for when I was sick was my digestive system. We believe there are some interesting crossovers that can happen. The company Probulin I founded back in 2013. We recently merged them together, and Probulin as a company currently is number 10 probiotic company in the United States out of 135 different brands, which include almost 1,000 different products. Now, I can tell you that that's an incredibly developed category, but the two companies together offer an interesting diversity and also an interesting complement to each other and crossover products that can actually happen and reach different markets for different reasons. Now, okay, so HempFusion current products, we have a set of topicals, but I want to tell you that developed right now and launching by the end of December are 9 different products that are going to be OTC registered, which are over-the-counter, drug facts labeled, registered products so that you can speak specifically to the conditions that people need, such as eczema, pain, and so forth. And these products are launching by the end of this year. We've gone through a rather arduous task of registering these through the OTC process. Now, we have tinctures, we also have capsules, but we also have unique products that are emulsified and are using liposomal technology called our Twist products. These are the ones that can actually make it fun. Now, Probulin has a unique product portfolio, but the new products that we're going into are categories related to beverages, other topicals, and unique things into the sports nutrition area that we believe is an emerging area for CBD. Currently, this is a map of showing you distribution-wise where we are throughout the United States. And so I think this map is actually something located on our website so you can access where we're truly located. Now, these are different key retailers throughout the United States that we've been able to partner with, and I can tell you that this list is going to get quite a bit more in depth pretty soon. Now, I'm going to skip this because now some of the things that we're also doing is partnering with different unique athletes, what I would consider action sports heroes, if you will. Travis Rice is a well-known snowboarder who is currently one of our ambassadors, and we have many more coming. Now, some of the strategy that we're doing is not only the US and Alaska, but also looking into other markets such as Europe, and we're starting to that expansion now. Now, for more information, you can reach out to our investment relations team, Spencer and Hunter. And one thing that I'd love to share is just to give you a view from a pictorial standpoint, a video standpoint of exactly what we do behind the scenes so that you can see where everything comes from. If you can play that video, that'd be great. Thank you, everybody.